50, this is Hound Dog 7, over.
I was going to say maybe start recording if it's instantaneous when the map pops up, like if it says Kharkov Warfare or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we'll know straight up.
And you can
It says
count us
Kharkov
down.
Warfare. I'm going to throw my fucking microphone out the window.
Yeah, you can count
Elevated Warfare.
More go
It was funny. Are you boys going in Summit?
Yeah.
Foy Warfare.
Yeah, we
Foy Warfare.
On time.
1, 2, 3.
It is the first round of the PAV Carpets concluding today, boys. This afternoon we've got ROFS against the 11th. As I mentioned on the podcast just recently, ROFS coming in off a fucking spicy 2023. They've got a 22 win and 5 loss record. Meanwhile, you've got the mighty 11th coming in as well. They didn't have quite a successful clan competition campaign in 2023, but they are still widely regarded as one of the most cohesive clans in Oceania, with the infamous Sheep Shaggers leading the way, led by Jedi Batman. So it's a battle now today between possibly Rum in command, and we'll find that out soon, versus Flying Pharaoh in his third last match as commander for the 11th, as he's about to begin some leave. I'd like to welcome aboard. Firstly, we've got our producer, and I'll introduce them all at once, and then they can have their say when I switch across the stream. We've got our producer, Haxxor. We've got the commander of the 6th, the victorious commander from last night from the 6th, Malarkey. We've got the star player from the 6th. He got nominated today. We've got Lobby, and we've got expert tank commander as well, Fubar from TFMC. Boys, how are you? Are you excited for this match? Have a chat, and I'll talk to you soon. Malarkey, how you going?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, I'm super excited to watch this. This is a classic game, ROFS versus the 11th. Some of the best Oceanic teams going at it in Foy. Super excited to see how they set up, and yeah, it'll be really crazy to see the tank battles and where the squad leaders end up going on such an open map.
Yeah, how are you, boys? It's she's a classic. This one, Foy Knight, 2 great teams. As Malarkey said, tank battles will be crucial in this game, but it'll be really interesting to see how they do set up on their infantry side, because as we all know, Foy is pretty restrictive. But with that Knight, I think it will give both teams a fairly good run at the ball.
Rescue, those supplies are down for you.
Hack.
Yeah, Foy being a night map, obviously can be a bit hard to see at times. So it's going to be interesting to see how we go here.
The forest. They're going to push through that forest.
I'm putting it on that the ROFS probably take this one away. I reckon that's my prediction, early prediction there.
Watch the
Lobby. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, looking at the map, with the 11th being from the German side, having both mids and then West Bend, it's not easy ground to cover to get over to there. So I think at this stage, ROFS have got the advantage coming up through the scrub there. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting in these next couple of minutes how they go on this midpoint cap race.
Who's getting a Gary up before the points, Supreme? Do you want me and my squad too?
You can hear there with Crispy talking about Garrison placements. Fubar, obviously I tanked with you last night, and you obviously know a fair bit about Garrison placement. How important are Garrisons?
Garrisons, they win or lose you the game. Garrisons, effectively, people say tanks can, or good push and all that sort of stuff, but you can't push without Garrisons. You can't defend without Garrisons. Man, they're dynamite, and they tell you where the enemy are. Not only are they a spawn point, but they're a radar. They tell you where the enemy are without using a recon plane, without using a flare. They're just so crucial. And getting your head around placing them in the correct positions, strategic positions, That's half the battle too. Malarkey, I'm not sure what your thoughts are on those. But...
start for us.
Look, to me, I say this to my boys a lot. First of all, any garrison is better than no garrison.
9 times out of 10.
Garrisons, to me, provide opportunity, and if you don't have 8 garrisons, then you lack the opportunity to pounce on exploits, on gaps, on destroying tanks, and controlling sectors. I always tell my squad leads, just build the garrison. It doesn't really matter where it is. If we don't have 8, just build it. Obviously, placement is very crucial, but sometimes you just can't hesitate.
You can see here now as they push into the midpoint. I'm checking in on Crispy's stream. They are getting those garrisons up there, boys. Putting on that left-hand side of the map, where are you thinking? You know, if you cap midpoint on that side of the map, where's the exposure points? What are you worried about there, boys? From maybe from a commander or a squad lead perspective, I'll throw to you, Lobby. What do you think?
You'll go on if the 11th cap. You know, you always could have that initial frontline push keep coming in because until they get that Gary up just south of 40 there, that's really all you've got. They're going to be getting constantly bombarded there. But looking just before the ROFS map there, they got a pretty wide flank starting off straight off the bat. So it'd be interesting with the 11th capping this midpoint at how quick they'll get in behind them and get that sneaky attacking flank going.
Yeah, because it's back-to-back, isn't it? I didn't catch the map before, but we're going back-to-back here, aren't we? Both on the left-hand side of the map?
No, the next one is
Middle?
Middle.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it is too. Yep.
Oh, they cap midpoint, the 11th of cap?
Yeah, alright, just need
Yeah.
to stop peppering that shit.
I mean, I think they had the advantage for that cap race because of just how close the midpoint is to their side.
Yeah, and the access for them.
The access as well, yeah.
Access is fairly straightforward.
It's super hard to defend this point without tanks and without getting control of that forest that Lobster was talking about just south of the point. So if I was the 11th, I would just push the front back and then just secure that main road with a few tanks.
Yeah, and drop some Artie at the front, yeah.
Yep.
Arties sort of have the field map on this map, don't they? Because there's only sort of, you know, little ant runs here and there, and that's it.
I didn't see this going this way. I thought Ross would be straight on that point. I won't go as far as saying that I was the same as Haxxor in saying I think they'll take it. I think it's definitely going to be a fucking arm wrestle. But if you're sitting on the side of Ross now, Malarkey, what are you doing as a commander? If you're Rum or whoever it is there, what's the position that you're going to be taking?
Oh, look, I say this to my boys a lot. When we lose a point or cap a point, transitioning is very important. And in this case, transitioning your front line, so extending it out from the west side towards the east, towards your point, is super crucial. And once you get that front line established, then you can get your tanks moved in behind your front line, and getting your front line pushing the enemy back and getting more sector control. So just, you know, stabilize the front line, get some sort of control of your blue zone, get your tanks involved.
Yeah, tanks are going to be really big, especially on this map too. Of all the bloody maps that we had to get, it's going to be huge. Obviously, 11th have got Nutty and a few of those other boys in the tank command. Does anyone know who's running tanks for ROFS?
I'm trying to see that.
Yeah, unsure, to be fair.
Yeah, same. They're the great unknown. We're still learning about ROFS. Full respect to you boys that are listening in, but
Butcher will be in one. Butcher
will be there. Yeah.
Yeah, with that influx from the E506s, I'm not exactly sure what their main lineups are, to be fair.
Wow.
But yeah, for this sort of map, it's where half a grid square sector by sector, isn't it? You can't just push 2 squares straight away.
No.
It's ground, you know, foot by foot sort of acquisition.
Sorry, I'm back.
I can see that they've set their garrisons pretty well up in defence. I'm watching Crispy stream primarily, boys, and they the 11th look like they've got their garrisons well set up. I don't know if you've seen much from the ROFS side of things or how they're going with Crawley and Wampy and those boys, but 11th look like they've got themselves defensively well set up, which they talked about TFMC last night as something that You know, we set ourselves up pretty well, but it's all about expecting where you're going to come, you know, on the attack. I don't know.
You looking at that the map from Wampy there with the ROFS fellas, they got two blue zones, one just north of Bizroy there behind the house near Southern, another one in the scrub there on the western side, and then a flanking one just south of Foy there on the main road, and possibly one on the around just on the eastern side of the scrub. So they've got a few different angles they can try and pinch these fellas out.
Yeah, I've got to say though, we thought we had our garrison set up pretty well early on yesterday, but then the crayfish there came in and destroyed a couple of them fairly early. Didn't crayfish?
Mid, or would you like me to go back to?
You got those crab claws out and sniff it a few.
What I'm saying now from the more the Ross fellas, they're absolutely copying and caning from the 11th Artie. So assuming that's Artie Monkeys, he's keeping him quiet with the last couple of streams we flicked through there. Everyone's in the respawn screen, so they're definitely copying a bit of heap there and keep them content.
We've got
now with the points going 2-2.
We've got a good one here. I'm pretty sure we've got Crawley approaching Crispy here. Because if I switch to Crawley here, he's rolling right up on the building as Crispy.
Yeah, true that. Yep, they're on the other side of the building.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
Wow, they've pushed right into the point.
And now we've got Dingo coming in. His stream's not so great quality, but he's on his way in.
That red zone garrison on that main road, that is a win condition garrison. Because if you control that main road, their tanks are uncomfortable. And you're squeezing the 11th into that forest onto the western side of the map.
It gets tight.
Yeah, the 11th really need to get control of that main road to stabilize the point and stabilize their front.
You talk about tanks, Malarkey on Foy. We all know Foy is a pretty good tank map. Why do you reckon that is? Explain to the new guys why Foy is such a great tank map though, when you have control.
Because of obviously it's such an open field, tanks render in within 1,000 meters, so you can see another tank 1,000 meters away. There are a few power positions on this map where if you get your tank there, destroy the enemy tanks from that position, then you're basically controlling, you know, up to 600 meters of, you know, the west side or the east side, depending on where you are. It's just, yeah, it's crucial to just get your tanks comfortable, get repair stations up, because they can really control the important sectors to allow your infantry to get into the point, to allow that cap pressure on the midpoint or whatever point you need.
Fubar, your thoughts on tanking on this map?
Oh, listen, she's probably the best, I would suggest, because it is open, but yet it does have cover, if you like, and that's not just in like buildings and trees. That's also in the undulation of the map. So she's not, you know, just all downhill like Kirk or Ramagen. She's up and down, and yeah, the commander said, controlling the ability to get your tanks into that controlling position, you can control, you know, a third of the map effectively.
Wow, they've got an airhead in.
Yeah, the 11th are doing a big push now. They last cap there from
early airhead.
That was 2-1. Yeah.
Oh, boys!
It's getting feisty in there.
Fire.
I'm not seeing too many tanks from the 11th side. Where are their tanks?
There comes in the fire. There was a tank round coming in then.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, they've lost total control of the points.
Yeah, Ross storming in here.
Yeah, 2-1. So they're definitely well and truly got their foothold in the cap race here.
I mean, they're basically
2-1. Yeah.
center door there. That's
Crispy was playing defensive squad, and you can see he's all the way back now. They've been pushed all the way back. There's the tank there.
Wow.
There's a Panther up on the right.
yeah.
Fubar, what do you think? You know, when you lose a point, you know, such as a midpoint, what is most crucial steps after losing a point? What is, like, you know, a team focus?
My personal belief is re-establishing defense on your blue zone point. because you need to reset as such. As a team, you need to reset and then push from there. That's my personal belief. I mean, others have got different ideas about that.
No,
Sure,
I'm with you
Lob-
100%. Bring everyone back. Sorry, Lobby, to jump in on something there, but the whole idea is if you've got enough time left, there is absolutely no point, slitting your wrists and trying to push forward with half your team still on the attack, trying to recap a point when you could get absolutely demolished from behind. And that's not necessarily just something I've learned at TFMC. That's something I've been seeing since the start of playing this game, boys. Bring everyone back if you've got the time up your sleeve. And you saw that last night. The only time that we really started to get stressed, not to talk too much about our match, was in those sort of final moments when we're like, oh, fuck, we're going to run out of time. We need to start pushing up a little bit more. But if you've got time up your sleeve this early in the game for you guys that are new and that are just tuning in and you're still playing a bit fresh, and you're playing in that warfare situation, any commander or a squad lead, pull everyone back, reset, set your garrisons up, get your defensive set up right, which sounds cliched, then you push up to the next objective. Do you reckon that's about right, Lobby?
Yeah, that's 100% right. You even look now, even with ROFS capping that midpoint, they're not pushing off straight away. They're doing the same thing. There's cooling down, they're resetting, they're making sure they got a defensive gear for that 11th push once they've reset. And everyone's just taking that time. But Dingo's copping a bit of a pizzle in there from that suspected blue zone Gary there, the 11th. That's pretty close to the front of the point there. But everyone just needs to take a breath, reset yourselves from both sides, and then you can proceed with your either next attack. Either if you're attacking the fourth point or attacking the midpoint, depending on which side you are.
I think one part of the game that's undervalued at times by many people, including the guys in the sixth, is intel. Where are they pushing from? Where are they currently? So I think it's equally important to set up defenses, but as important as setting up a defense is making sure you have some sort of red zone presence, so okay, they're coming through this sector, they're coming through that sector. Let's focus our defensive efforts to make sure they don't get any further.
That's so true. Like intel, but concise and clear intel.
Here's
A lot
intel.
of people tend to. This is.
Yeah, well, losing that Panther is going to be a big loss.
That is been slowing them up. That's for sure. Yeah.
See what Wumpy's doing here, where he's continuously marking that tank to make sure his tank mark is accurate? That allows those tank commanders to trust the ping and just shoot the ping, even if they don't see the tank.
Yeah. So vital. Like, you may not see the actual tank because of the fog, because of the trees, because of the undulation or whatever. But if you can trust that ping and shoot the ping, you're 10
love
ahead
that.
of your opposition. And that comes down to information and concise information. And this game, I mean, I would suggest that we're all love this game because of the communication.
You can see
and
Garrison's placements there.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So looking at that, it looks like they've got a nice stable front going, but their east side is looking a bit empty. And looking at ROFS garrison placements, they do have a garrison out on the east on that defend marker. So that might be an opening for ROFS.
They're still coming down here on ping.
Crispy's working hard though.
Can I get a in the middle? And you've dropped one. Okay.
There's still even a bit of relentless pressure there on West Bend. I think it was from one of the 11th MG crews. Still keeping everyone's heads down, so they're still putting a bit of pressure on. But I don't know if they just haven't had a long enough time to reset. Looking at going from Crispy back to the Ross fellas, they're still getting a bit of pressure. Whether they just needed that next minute or so just to reset. I mean, they still got an hour and 10 minutes left. In hindsight.
Look at
that road
front of the point.
on the
There's a massive
east
gap
side,
in
aren't
the
they?
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Gasket, they got their eyes on us, so push.
Tank's
push
still
if you can.
up.
Stay behind
That
the building.
tank's still
Stay
up,
behind
wow.
the building.
But he's still marking it.
Keep one
Yeah.
at least one gun running. Keep one
That's a
gun
power
running.
position there.
Drive in behind the building, realist. Just dead in behind the building.
I love that
Drive
tank
in
positioning
behind the next
because you're
window.
not letting the ROFS
I've got
guys
him, I've
move
got
out of
him.
their point and get comfortable in the red zone of the ROFS.
We might
Just
get
keeping
some
them
pack
turtled
guns
up
as well
on their
set up on
point.
West Bend,
Just do
orange.
it. One tap.
Was that sorry?
Yeah, they've got to press that soon. Have we seen much from the 11th tanks? I know you boys were saying it before. Have we seen anything from them yet? They're a bit quiet.
It's the Panthers there. That's the 11th Panther there.
Copy.
Yeah, like you think, are they going to try and support? I don't know.
Yep, that's good. We just
I think
lost
they're
that
just
one.
trying to hold their position at this point because they know
Yeah,
they've got
true.
him all around them.
True. True.
Actually, I'd love to hear Fubar's take on this. If you were that Panther, what's your, mind frame? What's your line of thinking? What's your next step?
Well, it's try and clear the Infy because that's your biggest danger right there. But you want to be able to hold that position too. So you don't want to expose yourself to a opposing tank, and you want to be able to try and control that Infy that you know is there. You can see it all around you. And I think that tank commander's sitting there going, if I move away from this cover, I'm going to get pinged by an enemy tank. I can't see where the ROFS tanks are, but I'm presuming that's what he's going through his mind.
Keep shooting.
And yeah, he's just trying to control that
He's got the
position
supplies.
and get some Infy support.
Precision down on tank.
Oh, precision is going down on that tank. Heard that from Rum.
There we go.
See if it hits.
Sorry, where do you want supplies?
So it is Rum on the ROFS side. And who we got on 11th? We got
Should be Pharaoh.
Yeah, it's Pharaoh.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get a.
Tank is gone, I think. It's not on the map anymore.
Oh, ROFS take action. That's how you get rid of it.
That's it.
Don't push
And
the infantry, just wait for the commander.
Yep, that's it. And good pings. Good pings will take it out. And that's the other thing as the tank commander, you can't sit there for 20 minutes.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm thinking,
It's very slack from the tank commander. They should have known that. Hey, we got a precision that's possibly coming in, in the next couple of minutes because it's about to respawn. Maybe we should move around a little bit. He's probably in between a rock and a hard place. He moves out of there, gets lit up by a 76, or he gets precision.
They're smoking, they're smoking.
but
I reckon that's what it
moving
is. That's
5 meters, moving 5 meters every couple of minutes, move forward, move back. And that way, I'm not sure who was pinging that. That was Dingo was pinging that.
Wampy, I think, wasn't
Wampy.
Wampy. He's on chat going, tanks move, tanks move, tanks move. You know what I mean? So commanders are a bit hesitant about throwing them down then for costing so much.
And you know what? I have to give props to Rum, and this is for the future commanders. The precision strike for the allies, which is what the ROFS guys are, is very hard to get it accurate. You need to move around the precision strike, the direction where it's coming from, because if you try to hit that tank from the east, it's going to hit that house that it was next to. Unlike the Germans' precision strike, which comes straight down, the Allies' precision strike is much harder to actually point.
Yeah. There is a little circle there you can move the direction around on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. No,
that's fucking gold, boys.
360 degrees.
Yeah, cool.
So if it's behind a building, you can hit it still.
You can, but you just got to change the direction that the planes come from.
And if
Kind
you
of
sit
like
there,
the same way you change the direction of a bombing run, just to be simple here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wow.
and you sit there and you watch precision strike, you'll see the Germans coming.
Dingo's got a whole bunch of in front of him.
It's a Garrison right there. Get him, Dingo.
Boys, come off OP, Ninja. There's a Gary in front of
Yeah, he's telling the squad, get there, off the OP, he needs
He's got one right in front of him.
You know, I'd love to hear you guys take on this. When you're, this is what I would say, like a little micro battle. When you have so many enemies in front of you, what do you prioritize?
Yeah, I'm good.
What do you reckon, Lobster?
Oh, look, if I've got the enemies, I'll prioritize one or two things. Either squad lead if I see him and try and pop his OP, or if they got an MG, I always got to go for them. Because anyone else, you got a fighting chance against. But yeah, that squad leads valuable information, and that MG just wants to keep your head down.
You know what I prioritise, Malarkey?
Mm.
Not shitting myself.
I'm with you there.
And then maybe
Frankie.
a 30.
I'm there. I'm normally
We had a
the
good
one
video
screaming.
a couple of weeks ago of Haxxor just running along and didn't realise there was was it a Garrison or an OP in front of your Hax, and he just fucking runs up and then boom, in they spawn and you just hear him play, oh shit!
You put a Sadie on a node, and I was about to nail the guy, and I saw
Oh yeah,
him,
true.
and he just went poof into a dust. So I'll let you have that kill for once, Frankie. You know, you got to get at least one Sadie kill a game.
Yeah. Otherwise I'll get angry. What do you prioritise, Malarkey?
I believe like when it comes to, sorry Frankie, I stepped on your toes there, but
You're right,
quickly, when
bros.
it comes to micro battles such as this, I believe playing your life is equally as important as killing others. If you can kill one yet stay alive, you're creating a lot of distraction for the enemy team, and then the rest of your team or the rest of your squad can come in and help you out.
Yeah.
But for you to just try to kill everyone and not play your life, you're going to lose that position. They're just going to respawn. So just play your life, make sure you don't lose your position, and then get reinforcements.
Well, talking about reinforcements, we've got Wampy coming up behind now to help reinforce here, because Dingo's obviously in a bit of trouble.
Love this play from Dingo, love it. Just stay behind cover, stay alive.
There you go,
get
Garrison
your
down.
reinforcements. Beautiful, beautiful work.
Yeah, that was pretty good squad work. That. To be fair.
There's another. Someone's just spawned in front of him for Wampy, so I'm just going to here.
Drop the guy. Drop the guy over here. Is there more Wampy?
Enemy light vehicle marker for the demo squad at the HQ.
Might be one more. Yep.
Yeah, they're talking together really well, eh?
This is good gameplay from ROFS. This is good, boys.
Yeah. They gelled together there so well.
Love it.
Let's not move up.
Do you think that comes down to cohesion or proper guidance from the leadership on how to engage in these micro battles?
Oh, both. There's, I think there's a lot of good squad work between squads is cohesion, and I think it's a natural thing. I don't think you can force that from leadership. To tell you the truth, you can direct it, but I don't think you can force it.
I think the catalyst for it is leadership, and then the result becomes cohesion, and then cohesion creates what we just saw there, boys. What do you reckon about that?
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
I think it starts off in pub games, right?
Yeah.
I think it starts off in pub games.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Where leadership says, look, in pub games, every second pub game, let's just take it semi-serious, let's work together. Right? And then that, what you've done in a pub game is going to naturally flow to your clan wars. What is not going to happen is where you think, we're going to train once a week and take it serious once a week, and then that's going to translate somehow in a clan war. It's you gotta when it comes to training, when it comes to micro battles, tank commanding, whatever, it's about creating habitual movements, habitual coordination. I think they've got
Yeah, no, totally agree. It's like muscle memory, isn't it? I mean,
And as cliche as it sounds, I would put at least, I'd put big money on the fact that Dingo and Crawley would play together pretty regularly as well, so they know each other. And so even though right now in a clan situation they're in different squads, they know what each other are up to, and that's getting back to that cohesion thing. So it starts with your leadership, like you're saying, Malarkey. Every second game we're going to take this seriously, and you'll play in your different squads, or you might play in your one squad that you do, or however the clan works. But then outside of that, in those other pub matches that we're talking about, where we're having a little bit of fun, you're getting to know A, B, and C, and then you put that all together in clan war, and then leadership's got nothing left to do because the boys are just working fluidly. And I think that's an example of what we saw just before.
that was gold. Watching that was absolute gold.
Yeah, it was a fantastic play by ROFS. They're pushing in.
Artillery, can I ask you to hold fire for a second so I can
They're
scope
inside
out?
Foy now.
Foy?
Yeah. They've got that door knocked down. Holy shit.
If you were that Panzer 4 Lobster, or actually Haxxor, because you're a tanker as well. If you're that Panzer 4 and you know you're getting surrounded, what's your line of thinking? Do you retreat or do you just stay put or?
It depends on the time, to be honest, on like what's happening. Normally, I don't normally squad lead, or tank command as you call it. So I don't normally do that much. I'm normally listening to what the commander's saying, which would normally be the good old Fubar. But in that situation, you're either, if you're there, you're just going to run,
When are you listening?
risk it for the biscuit and just get in there and get it, see if you can smash a hole through the line, or just retreat.
Medium tank destroyed.
That's my take.
Oh, that medium tank's destroyed. You just heard that on command chat.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, you know, I didn't see the whole map and see what... Oh, it's too quick for me. But yeah, they're in that door and they're one-on-one. So that tank probably should have just tried to hold and throw some HE around and clear it out for them. Maybe back off a little bit, get some impy. But you really need to call in some impy support on that one.
They're coming through the bottom.
I'm sure he would have.
Through the bottom of the field.
Whether they're able to get there or not, it's another matter.
But you also talk about like tanks and all that. Tanks don't work well unless they've got infantry support, in my opinion. If you need infantry support, if you are going to push a point, doesn't matter if it's an open field or whatever, you need infantry support. One tank isn't going to just blast a hole through. It might blast a hole, but it's going to quickly get closed up, and then the defensive team's just going to hold.
Yeah, no,
100%. 100%.
yeah, especially with the way the squads are set up. You know, there's 3 guys in every squad that has the ability to kill a tank, let alone the commander with his precision strikes and
You'd hope so anyway.
yeah. So tank squad support on tanks is absolutely vital.
And even beyond that, just having those extra eyes so the tank commander isn't doing constant 360s checking out where everything is. They've also got those eyes on the ground that can, if they're a squad lead, radio through in red chat, or if they're not, at least put it through blue chat and start screaming, oi, oi, there's fucking something over here. You know, just the little things, having that infantry around you gives you that little bit of support. I know when I run up, you know, if I've got Lockie around me, if I see Fubar and Haxxor around me, there's always a bit of a shout of appreciation. Oh, yep, thank you, mate. You know, cheers, thank you. It's good that you're here. That's just that added layer of support, having the infantry around you.
Yeah, and it works hand in hand too, doesn't it? It's like having the tank there with the infy. The infy supports the tank supports the infy, and you know you sort of roll with that.
Frank, as you know, you normally hear me coming because I'm normally doing my good old beep beep move.
Beep beep.
As you mentioned in the potty, you normally know it's me coming through saying beep beep, and if you don't move, I'm running you over from driving. I don't care.
When I scratch my head and think, what does Fubar let him get away with this? But Fubar's probably sitting in the back seat going, yeah, fucking get him, mate.
Well, I've seen you try and jump on tanks with those saddies, Frankie. You need.
We're coming in just under, I think we're just underneath the hour mark here. Malarkey, if I had to put you on the spot and say, which way is this going? Where are we going here? You don't need to make a final call, but who's, you know, looking beyond the points in terms of just gameplay itself, who's got the foothold here? Are you seeing a comeback here for 11th? Are they going to reset, or is ROFS firmly in control at this point in the match?
I think this game is unlike any other game where momentum is so hard to turn around, and in this case, I think the momentum is firmly in ROFS's hand. You can look at where Dingo is now, which is deep in the red, in front of the midpoint, and I think it was Wampy that was in Foy destroying enemy tanks. So the momentum is definitely with ROFS. I think the 11th just need to make sure, find a way to stop that momentum, get control of their blue zone, which is ROFS's red zone. That's the first step, and then get your tanks comfortable. But if you're not aware of that momentum from the 11th side, it's you feel like you're not sure what to do. You know, wherever you go, you're getting engagement.
That's not
Yeah, that
good.
world starts
Take it
closing
away.
in around you when things start to get heavy. Momentum's a good word. Lobby, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I reckon it's the doof making it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree the same. I think
Shit, he's got me again.
ROFS have pretty well got their foothold in there. They're just 11th are doing everything they can to hold out, but there must be a few stressful tactics or things happening because you just saw before on Wampy's stream, he pinged up a clanny that's in the middle of no man's land running through the snow, like no cover or anything like that. That's, to me, that's a bit of a mind fart going, why are you out there? You know, you're just going to get picked straight off. But yeah, I think it's only a matter of time till they just claw their way in slowly and just get that stranglehold on them. We saw earlier that tank right out to the east there, ROFS did on the train tracks. So that's probably no doubtly going down to their arty or coming in to do a flank and helping them out.
They're running along the open on that marker, far left.
Yeah, sorry, I was just watching Crispy there for a second. It's a crying shame to go off track for a second that we haven't got more 11th perspective. I know the same thing happened last night with the Six Boys, but Rambo and bloody Fiddy were lined up to go today. I don't know if they existed when you were in there, Malarkey and Lobby, and don't comment, you know, there's water under the bridge there, but I would really have loved to have seen the Sheep Shaggers. I talked them up today. I wonder what Jedi and Fiddy and War Pigs and those boys are up to right now and what kind of pressure they're putting on. They're a very offensive unit. I'd love to see what's going on there. I guess I'm just airing my grievances that we don't get more perspectives. Hopefully next round, boys, we do. But I'm going to concur with everything you guys have said so far. I think the momentum is definitely in the favour of the Roffy boys. Fubar, have you got any different to say? Are you sitting in the same boat as us?
Looking at that map, these ROFS guys have got this blue zone and red zone sectors pretty much right across the map there under control, and they're actually walking through boy. So I think the 11th need to dig deep and find a hole. I was holding on because, yeah, at the moment it just looks to be a bit of a ROFS stronghold at the moment.
We're looking at the map there, going on Crispy's stream there. They do have that attacking garrison right on the western side of the map there, but there hasn't been much actually coming off it where, Dingo's perched up there on top of the hill next to that PZ4 wreck. He's more shooting towards Cobra Factory. You'd think they'd be putting a little bit more pressure there, without seeing any perspectives from the West Bend stronghold itself. But Dingo's just there, just picking them off one by one, doing long shots, just keeping them at bay. I'd highly doubt there'd be much pressure back there at West Bend at all. Even looking at the map, there's nothing pinging up around it one bit.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where the 11th boys' tanks are. They're just holding back behind Boy. But they certainly...
Was that a cheeky half track to the northern side of Foy there that I saw, or was I imagining when he hopefully puts his map back up?
He's too quick.
Log it up in 2 seconds. I don't know if that's I think that's just a light tank that's protecting that northern side there. But so they're looking at it now, they've got pretty much a strangle around it. They're just going to start suffocating them out, I'd say. Which is a shame from the 11th side.
I tell you what, I laughed last night when I heard Crispy say, I haven't seen much. I'll do it in a Crispy voice. I haven't seen much. No, I can't do it. I haven't seen much Archie last night.
That was
he said, I haven't seen. It was fucking awful. He said, I haven't seen much Artie last night, and I felt like saying, fucking, what are you watching? The first 5 minutes, demolishing us with Artie. But have you boys seen much Artie tonight from these sides? Because that's another thing that 11th get ranked for, though. They cop a big rap for their artillery, and I don't know if Artie Monkey's playing, but he's an absolute star. Have you boys seen much of that?
No, I've got to say I haven't seen much Artie going off, and I'd have to suggest that they're being kept under wraps because the 11th are lethal with their Artie.
Massive recon battle there from our boy Heelsy and Pineapple, and I can't remember who's in the other recon squad, but sorry, Fuba, keep going.
Yeah, no, I dare say Tank and Hills is keeping them under wraps there. And it's pretty sort of artillery pit for them to be able to do that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Actually,
What do you reckon,
I have a
Malarkey?
question. I have a question for you guys on the subject of Artie. How do you guys think the Artie defense has developed throughout, the couple of years that we have been playing this game? I've seen fortification around Artie. I've seen, an entire squad protecting Artie. How do you guys feel like the Artie is getting protected in your own teams or in teams that you versed?
I'll weigh in first because old Frankie boy needs to do a sneaky wee wee. Malarkey, I'll go from outside the clan. Like the development that I've watched, only cleaned up in the last 6 or 7 months. On the Northern Hemisphere side of things, I don't know if you boys keep up to date with what's going on there. I'm sure you do. You see things like the 7th sending up a proper recon tank that will actually go in and destroy Artie and aim for nodes as well. Which kind of, for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that pretty much negates putting up any kind of fortifications. And that makes me switch back to, I think it was when you were still commanding the boys, Malarkey, with your former clan, when, you had a designated engineer or engineers that were setting up huge amounts of fortifications that it was almost stressful seeing it. It might have been 11th, maybe it wasn't, but, if you bring in a tank there, that kind of negates that. And I think it's kind of almost come back at a stalemate. And you boys correct me because you've got better heads than me, but now I kind of feel like it's Artie versus your recon team, and your recon team's a group of infantry, maybe one squad, maybe 2 squads, maybe it's 2 smaller squads or 3 smaller squads. I don't know. I'll pass it over to you, and I'll be back in a sec.
I'll step into this one because I take notes on the enemy team's Artie defense. And the best Artie defense I've ever seen was against a Russian team that we played a few weeks ago, where I would say they had a solid 5-6 people putting up Artie. They were so kind to show us a video from their POV. They shared a video, and I zoomed into their map where the Artie was, and I kid you not, they had about 50 AP mines, 20 AT mines, 5 people building Artie, right? And no matter what we did, we sent a recon tank, an entire infantry squad, both recon teams, we just could not silence Artie. And their Artie was super effective. They had 3 Artie guns running the entire time, and we just struggled to really get a solid push or get sector control on these important sectors. So, I've seen teams that develop their Artie defense to a level where you just can't do anything to stop their Artie. And I've also seen the other side where there's absolutely no Artie defense. But I think at bare minimum, you do need to send some sort of infantry back to help out Artie, to find the enemy recon's OP. But I think you should have a few defensive lines, a few defensive maneuvers, if you will, where initially it's infantry, maybe then send a recon team with a spotter so you can find the use a flare, and then the third one maybe even send a tank to help out your own Artie.
I stuck around to listen to that because that sounded interesting as fuck. That's insane. That Russian team, Jesus. Fubar, what do you reckon?
Yourself, for Christ's sake. So with that being said, then how crucial is Artie then being up? I'll pose that to the whole floor there.
I'll step into this one. Look, I say this to my boys. I think a solid foundation stands on a few pillars on this game. One of the pillars that creates a solid foundation is Artie. Another one is obviously tanks. Third one is communication, and the fourth one is garrisons. And if one of your pillars do crumble, then the rest of them need to carry the weight and make sure your foundation stays stable. So I do think Artie is very, very important. It is one of the main capabilities, if you will, to clear a sector, to help your infantry, to help defense and offense at the same time. So I think it's super crucial.
Fucking toe poppers.
I'm just looking here on the map when it pops up. Currently, ROFS have a tank of some kind, a recon team at their mid HQ, obviously dealing with the bloody Artie, and they've also got another infantryman on the right HQ as well, obviously taking out any tanks that come in over there. So I'd say the 11th are feeling quite a squeeze in more ways than one in the foyer there.
Use, yeah.
I have another question for you guys. This might, at the risk of sounding a bit nerdy, which sector do you guys think on this map, specifically Foy, the point for the 11th, their defensive point, which sector do you think is very important to control, whether it's in their blue or in the red?
You got the OP? Nice, perfect. No garrison there.
Well, definitely the front four. So that where those two roads are coming up from the south into the north there, that square there, that needs to be controlled. Because from there you can see east and west. And it also pushes the infy or the enemy, it funnels them off to the east and the west.
Last time I saw him, he was pushing over here. Infy over
Personally. Lobster?
Oh, look, see, I'm going from what I usually do here. Yeah, there's that being the 11th there, that Cobra, probably the sector on each side of four here, so Cobra factory side, and that clearing on the east, they'd be vital so you can see if anything's coming from each side. But I know just looking at the map, think that's how ROFS are just getting in a few more fellas in. They're just flanking around that eastern side there. I don't think there's much in the way of 11th fellas out there, and as you can see now, they're capping quite well on the point.
Well, they're starting to cap the 4th point here.
They've just taken the garrison down on the point too.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. I mean, Crawley's
They got the garrison down on the point, did you say?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's currently 2-all cap race.
Huge.
This is defensive airhead time.
I think this is where a good commander can come in and recognize what should we do to stabilize our point. Yeah, we're losing it, and panic is setting into the squad leads. A good commander should be able to combine team efforts, tell the tanks what to do, and the infantry. And for me, the force multiplier sector, where if you control it, you have intel, tanks getting comfortable, you have pressure on the enemy point, is front of foy, right? At times, I think people overcomplicate this game where you need to flank and all these kind of stuff. But most points, and we see it here, they cap it through a frontal push. Right? Same thing happened on the midpoint. They capped it through a frontal push.
That's
so
right.
yeah, so you're keeping that front open for ROFS to just walk in, which is what they did. Destroy your tanks, get into your point, get your OPs destroyed and garrisons destroyed. Is for me the number one focus for this team for the 11th is just get control of those front sectors, get people to outflank them, get your tanks far away to HE those roads, get Artie zeroed in, and get control of the front red zone sectors.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Front door must be locked before anything else. And then you can start worrying about the other stuff, but that front door's got to be locked, and we're not necessarily seeing that here. Yeah, fuck.
Oh, and they're capping the last point as well.
Oh, no.
They've got no garrisons.
Oh, no. How's Crispy going, boys? I can't see quite good at the moment.
He's doing well, but I think he's struggling just with the enemy presence being everywhere.
He's under lots of pressure. He's been doing well under it too.
Of course.
It's just the enemy recon team. It's just ROFS recon team capping it.
It's Heelsy. Heelsy's on the cap.
Wow.
Oh,
looking at it, they're capping quite well.
How far are they through the cap, boys? I'm lagging.
About a third.
Third.
Oh, no.
Almost 50.
Oh no.
This is not how 11th wanted things to go.
They just need to get their boys in the sectors. Those tanks, if you need to pull back, I saw 2 tanks on that ROFS recon, which is the 11th tanks. Just retreat, get back to your point, reset.
Yep.
Can you come in as a support, please?
Yeah, wow.
It's alright, it's not over, it's just the enemy recon team capping. They just need bodies on the point.
Just be getting an OP there. Come on, boys.
Looks like they're contesting it now. Yep, they've stabilized it now. Nice.
This is where when Ross were controlling the HQs, it slowed them their ability to be able to get back to this last point, didn't it?
Mm.
Want to get a new AP up?
Be very interesting to see how they stabilize this point. I do think there is a bit of an advantage when you're on your last point. Enemy arty can't hit you. You're also supporting your friendly arty just by being there.
Yep.
And your tanks are straight out of HQ into the battle, where the enemy tanks, you destroy one, it takes them a good 10 minutes to get back. So there is a bit of an advantage. It'd be interesting to see how they capitalize on that.
How long have we got left, Malarkey?
40 minutes.
Okay.
They've got time.
Plenty of time. That's plenty of
Just
time.
put some ice in the veins, 11th, and settle down.
Reset, and this is where you got to have cool heads, isn't it? I'll put that out to you guys. You know, but you see time and time again, you know, teams just capitulate and fall under the pressure rather than just taking a breath and you know, resetting as such. I'm not sure what your thoughts are.
It's up
Boys?
to that. It's up to that second, lead in the team for me. Because squad chat's probably going off right now for your squad leader. So you need those boys that are playing support or playing, that secondary role just to be pushing through to the other boys that are probably freaking out a little bit. Oi, come on, stay alive. As we said before, move slowly, pick them off. Let's just fucking settle. We've got 40 minutes left. That's what we want those 11th boys to be saying right now if they're going to stay in this match. Am I right there, Lobby? Do you reckon you're a squad leader? Is that the kind of thing you want your second in command saying if you haven't got the time?
Oh, to be quite honest, I'm hoping that the squad leads and the commander aren't melting down in command chat. That's negativity when that comes down. It just goes straight through the whole team. Doesn't matter
It's
if you're a
toxic,
buddy
yeah.
medic.
Yeah.
Just go. Oh well, fuck. We've just lost the point. Let's get back. Let's reset. Let's think about how we're going to do this. We keep that positivity, and if you get in there getting cranky with each other, you're not going to be in there for much longer because you just can't do that. So hopefully within the ranks of the 11th, they're not screaming and calling each other names and carrying on. I'm hoping they're just taking a breath, go righto, let's reset. There's not many garrisons looking at Foy there from the ROFS side of things. So hopefully they can get it spread out, get a new defense going these 11th, and hold them off and push back out.
And before I throw it to Malarkey and get his opinion on the same thing, that's one thing I did praise 11th for through the week. They've got this resilience about them, boys. I've seen them take disastrous losses before I was with TFMC, and immediately after the match, positive spirits. And the same thing in the match. If they lost a point, there was never anything sort of filtering down through whether I was with, I don't know, I'll list off names here, Slavic Kevin, whether I was with Odyssey, whether I was with Jedi. It never came down, whether I was with Malarkey way back in the day when he was a squad leader. It was never this stressful stuff coming back down through. It was always positive. Let's get the reset. What do you reckon, Malarkey? Is that what 11th need to do fucking right now?
100%. I think this is where a good commander can come in and just relax the boys. And you know what? I'm going to give credit to Pharaoh because I know Pharaoh very well. And if he does one thing well, it's, instill positivity in the command chat. So I'm sure he's saying things like, boys, all right, calm down. Let's reset. We've got this. Let's, get our garrisons up, get our tanks comfortable. He knows how important it is just to keep the boys focused, keep it positive. So I'm sure he's doing that, and and you can hear it in the command chat at the moment. It's not hectic, it's not going off. So credit to the 11th boys.
Let's just get some tanks in play, hey Fubar? That's what they need.
Wow, we need more streamers from it, don't we, hey? It's a tanky map. I haven't seen too many people getting blown up by HE.
No, I thought this would be a big tank warfare, but fuck, it's boiled down to a real infi battle, hasn't it?
It has. And you know what? And that's why this game's so great. Even though it's a great tank map, it's come down to an infi. It's come down to an infi punch up as such, which is great.
We were talking about infantry support for tanks, and this is a big subject, and it is a sensitive subject for a lot of us. How do you think, a tanker or a infantryman can work well with a tank? What is needed as a tank commander to make sure that your infantry can support you? And, you know, as a squad lead, what are you trying to do to protect your tank?
I'll get an OP up here
Yeah.
when you get a chance.
Personally, as a tank commander, you're always trying to position the tank for minimal attack points, but maximum attacking advantage. Does that make sense?
Mm.
I'm not sure if I'm being articulate enough on that, but
He's going to drop supplies.
in regards to info, you need them to be on the outlying areas of that position that you're taking up, so that you're not easily attacked from the rear, from the side, because generally your focus is at the front or on immediate pings, which, you know, wherever the front may be. And I think Infi need to be versatile enough to be. They don't need to be sitting on top of the tank, but, you know, that 100-meter zone around a tank, it's. I think it's crucial. I'm not sure how Infi feels about that.
Map
Maybe
awareness is crucial before lobby joins in. It's all about. When I used to play, it used to be, I've got to be right near it. I've got to be right near it. That's the fucking most stupidest place that you can be. You're not doing any help if you're right on top of that tank. I was going to stupidly joke when Malarkey said it. I was like, oh, the best thing I could do is get my repair tool out. But if we want to talk seriously, you know, it's keeping a bit of distance and having a bit of map awareness that, you know, so let the tank commander do his job, as I was saying before. Lobby, are you kind of on the same page with us there?
Oh fuck yeah, and yeah, you definitely need to have that map awareness going. Because you can just even, for these fellas, they could just see that flash of that. For instance, ROFS, they could see the flash of that Gary right at the eastern side there and go, righto, there's a truck or something come past. Doesn't matter whether you're tank commander or not. You go, shit, they could be getting in behind us already. Or if you are the tank commander, you go, right, if we're not engaging something, another vehicle, a tank or whatnot, let's have a look at that way. We might see that supply truck swinging around and get a shot at him and wreck that flank on him.
Hey boys, there's a fuck ton of infantry coming out here.
And I think you guys had touched on it earlier on in the broadcast, but, you know, staying alive, it's such a big factor. Staying alive and holding your position while staying alive, it's such a big factor, isn't it? I mean, I'll throw that to you guys, but that's mine.
No, that's the thing that two blokes have said to me throughout my time playing. One was Malarkey and one was Forrest. Both of them said, "Just stay alive. Just stay alive." And
Forrest
it's like, no. Well, I was in a squad with him. I kid you not, it was Omaha Beach, and he's just like, "Just stay alive. Just stay alive, boys, for a second. You know, just settle for a second. Just stay alive." It stays with you. I say it all the time now. I swear blokes listen to me go, "What the fuck's he talking about?" But I'm like, no, just stay alive for a couple of seconds. Just breathe. Makes all the difference in the world, Fubar.
Yeah.
Boys, I'm wary that we've talked a lot about 11th. How are ROFS going? If they want to fucking cap this 5th, because there's got to be a bit of pressure here to get this game over with. Commander perspective, Malarkey, what are you doing here in the ROFS side of things?
Look, this point's so hard to cap because it's just open field till you get to the trenches just south of that point. So for me, I'll just get control of the front for now, which is exactly what they're doing. And I think the concept of a front line control is sometimes can be complex. You don't necessarily need presence in every part of the front. You just need, in each sector, you have some sort of squad lead, some sort of garrison, some sort of OP, so you've got that intel. Once you've got that, then you can get your tanks involved. This is, again, a tank-heavy map. So if you can get your tanks involved, you will cap that last point. So I think that's what they're probably doing at the moment, where they've got frontline control. Next step is get your tanks up there, destroy enemy tanks, set some AT guns up, and yeah, you're going to cap the point pretty easily. Which, looking at the map, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's really good chat from you too. Sorry, boys. Because we talked before about the 11th needing to keep that front door shut. ROFs need to keep pressure on trying to push that front door open so that they can try and get the tanks up and start forcing a distraction to the sites, which we see 7th fucking do so well, the bastards. If you put pressure on the front door, then you can start making those distractions either side. Lobby, I heard you starting to speak there. Sorry, mate. What did you want to say?
No, it wasn't me. Sorry.
Fubar, sorry.
Continue.
Oh, yeah, no. I was just just concurring. I mean, ROFS look to be fairly comfortable. They're taking their time. They're not rushing anything. They seem to be setting up. I mean, Crispy doesn't look so busy at the moment because ROFS are probably taking a bit of a breather, waiting for that setup to be perfect for them, by the looks of this.
Alpha's OP's hot near you.
You know what's really interesting to me watching this map is that neither the 11th or the ROFS guys have a garrison on their point. I'm a big believer that garrison should never be on a strong point, right? Because it's so easy to find, it's so easy to zero in with Artie. What are your guys' stance on that?
Yeah. Lobby, actually, no, Fubi. Well, come on, Lobby, you are the squad lead. Where do you sit with that, Bruz, before we throw it to Fubar?
Nah, put it straight on the strong point. Fuck what the commander says.
Lord Lobster says on the point.
Righto, you're getting Artie reloaded next fucking clan war.
No, you definitely got to spread them out. Like going from, you know, early days of the game, you go, right, you can chuck one on the point and then 4 around it, to going, instead of having 5 close to that one point, you can put 4 up and you're still going to have the same advantage. And the fellas aren't going to know, like the enemy team, they could walk in and go, shit, there's no Gary here. Yes, we're going to get a cap. But then all of a sudden they could get an attack from 3 different ways because of the Garys around it. And, yeah, as Malarkey said, I don't know what it is, but as soon as you chuck a Gary in that strong point and it gets pinged up on the map, you've got Artie on you constantly until that Gary's destroyed. So nowadays you just can't do it, especially with the quality of the Artie in these games.
Funny that we were talking about that. I was just watching Crispy there. He's really struggling to get a garrison down. Is he just struggling with trying to figure out the 200-meter rule there? Were you watching that, boys?
He was.
Yeah.
He was struggling.
He just can't get that Gary down. He's working hard though, actually.
Right. See, I didn't know if that was the
Fubar,
200-meter rule, or it does that glitch where you just can't put down a new Gary.
Well, he has had that problem before. It's funny you say that, but I think it was the 200-meter rule.
But yeah, the Gary on point, like as a tanker, you know, you hit the Gary on point, you know there's not another Gary near you for 200 metres, and you go, the point's open, you can basically just roll in. Whereas if you don't have the Gary on point, you can have, 4 or 5 Garys within 100 metres off the point, but all 200 metres apart, and have it as just so effectively surrounded and supported as if you've got a Gary on the point. I'm not a big fan of Garys on point in warfare.
No, I think that's removed itself from the meta.
Yeah, but I mean, you see in pub matches every time they put down a one Gary down, they put it down straight in the middle of the point. You come along with a tank or a Sadie or a rocket, take it out, point's gone. See you later.
Just take your kill, push up the ground.
I was just laughing there. Poor old Crawley was trying to get a kill on that truck and someone shot him from behind. I know that feeling all too well. How's Wompy going?
They're at HQ3. I'm trying to...
Let us know if you want to...
He keeps dying. I can't get him on every time he dies.
The commentator curse. Sorry, Wompy.
You're looking there at the map.
Redeploy again.
They've got control of that that eastern side now, in front of the HQ3 from the 11th side. So they're well and truly getting around them again, just like they did with Foy. They got 27 minutes, so they've got plenty of time to strategize how they want to start strangling them out and keep that constant pressure on, and then just start walking in, exactly like they did on Foy. See, they've dropped an airhead there on the front of the point.
Love that airhead. I love that airhead. Right in the trench system, south of the
I was
point.
about to say they're being slow and methodical, but no, they're going for the fucking kill, aren't they?
They want that 5-0, that extra point.
Yeah. They want that extra point, Malarkey.
Who came up with that idea?
Hey, I had a different setup, man. Just saying.
Oh, this is a crucial moment in the game. I wonder if the 11th noticed that they're getting pushed by an airhead. Has it been called out?
Crispy gets the OP down. Well done, Crispy.
Crispy's running away from
so
where they're
far
meant to be.
away.
Yeah, looking at that, Crispy must be at that eastern side there, cleaning up the Ross fellas that I was just talking about out there before.
Yeah, he's at the right hand HQ there. Sort them out.
They're capping 2-all now,
wow.
so yeah,
All hands
good
on deck,
push
boys. All hands on deck. Come on, 11. Get in there.
3-2.
Come on, boys.
Has the airhead been called out by the 11th? That's the
Come on,
question.
sheep
Or do
shaggers.
they think it's just a few squads?
I got to quickly say, sorry, Ross, we're not actually pulling for the 11th. We just want to see the match continue because this has been awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a super game.
I love it. I love this shit. It's going to suck, I tell you what, in a couple of weeks when this is done and we've got to go back to TPL and Summit and we don't get to do this kind of thing. This has been awesome.
It's been great.
Thanks to boys for coming on tonight. I'll say it again later, but thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Pleasure.
Great.
It has. Even talking to Lobster. I mean...
Lord Lobster's here. Thank you very much.
Oh, Lord Lobster. Bit of pressure going there on the third objective too.
Yeah, I think it's game over.
Yeah.
I don't think they've recognised it's an airhead. And yeah, I think it might be too late. Look at them all. They swarmed the point. They're inside.
They're in there.
Wow.
Poor Crispy.
And you know what? If they had the front controlled, if the 11th had the front controlled, they would have seen that airhead. Because of the presence from the ROFS just controlling the front so well, they created opportunity to get that airhead, sneak it into a trench, and you can see it's game over.
GG, boys.
GG. Fucking well done,
GG's
Ross.
to the Ross. Well done, Ross. And I think
Unlucky.
kind of covered everything. We kind of unpacked every way that they won this, and you boys jump in on top of me in a second. But we talked about tanks. Well, tanks got kind of removed. We elaborated a fair bit on Artie. Artie got taken out, and so what that comes then therefore down to is infantry control, which we would call sector control. And when it came down to sector control, and you're in with that momentum that Malarkey was talking about earlier in the piece, which we also talked about. The momentum comes from controlling that front part of the sector there. 11th kind of, at points, they were doing their best, but they left that front door open, and then, boom, this is what we get, a slow, sort of methodical, and then slap, straight in the face. ROFS come through and get it there. A good victory for ROFS, and a congratulations to them, and a heartfelt commiserations to the 11th boys. I think they put up a really strong strong display in defense. I wish we got some perspectives of what was going on in their attack so that we didn't sound, so maybe one-sided. In credit to the ROFs, it would have been good to show a 50-50 side, boys. But as we wait on Crispy and Heelsy joining in on the chat to give us their thoughts, what are your overall thoughts? We'll start with Lobby, then we'll work to Malarkey and finish up with Fubar and then Hax.
Yeah, we've already briefly covered it. They just lost that frontline control there in that last point, and obviously didn't know anything about that airhead until it had dropped in and got a few spawns out. So they just ran straight through them into there, and at that stage there was no control behind the point because it had 11th, as we saw with Crispy, he was pushed right out the eastern side. And I don't think I saw any backup Garys once that HQ got locked out. So once good play by the Ross fellas and Rum. There was no way that that was protected from the 11th.
Yeah, and I'll say too, Malarkey, before you jump in, because I think you might like this, because I'll reference last night. It wasn't quite like last night. Last night with TFMC versus Sixth, it kind of felt once the midpoint was gone, as Crispy joins, I'll just make sure he's quiet. Last night, I kind of felt like, I can only speak for myself, once Distillery was lost, we were always on the back foot. It didn't feel quite like that tonight, mate. It felt more like they lost mid, and we had the big Panther showdown that we were talking about. Then they held fourth for a little while. Then they held fifth for a little while. It was a bit slower tonight. Am I speaking right there, do you reckon?
Yeah. I think it comes down to, and this is credit to the ROFS boys, the importance of winning these micro battles. They take their time to win these micro battles, to get sector control slowly. I think Dingo was an absolute gun this game, watching him just slowly control this trench, stay alive in this area, get his squad moving up while he keeps his gun up. These small micro battles, man, they're so crucial to the game. Yeah, it's a big game. It's 50 versus 50. But if you win your micro battle here, another squad wins their micro battle there, then you're slowly moving up. And I think they did that super well.
Yeah, me too. And just quickly, Haxxor, if you can get whoever's streaming, see if anyone's streaming and showing the full scorecard. I'm not watching at the moment. Fubar, I was fucking absolutely... I'll just say it. I was masturbating over the thought of you being able to commentate this map because it was a tank-heavy map, but we didn't see that. What's your overall thoughts of the map, my man?
Oh, listen, Foy, traditionally is tanking battle, but as you saw, the tanks pretty much got taken out of it from both sides.
Yeah.
It came down to a tactical infy battle, and as Malarkey and Lobster have said, Artie got taken out and control. Sectors started getting controlled, and it just became sort of a bit of a precision for the infy just to do those micro battles, move up inch by inch, sector by sector, until that last airhead seriously straight on the front doorstep. Man, pretty
most
good.
I've heard the word micro since someone tried to describe flying Ferris penis. Haxxor.
Excellent.
Haxxor, mate, I've got to give you a big credit. You did a fantastic job on production tonight, brother. Any thoughts from you on the map before we hand it over to our two guests straight off the battlefield here at Foy, Haxxor?
The only thing that really stands out to me, obviously, was awesome match to watch, but Dino, just that micro battle to hold that garrison and to just call the squad in just to get it taken down, that was crucial to winning the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, nice. Did you just say Dino?
Yeah, Dingo, he meant.
Dingo.
He meant
Dingo.
Dingo.
Haxxor.
I say, shit, the sticks have invaded.
Nah, Dingo.
Yeah, no. That's a good shout out too. I think Crawley had a fucking absolute ripper of a game.
I think Crawley didn't he?
Yeah, and I'm going to throw the other bloke that I think had an absolute ripper game. I've never seen a fucking squad lead work so hard in my life. Crispy, commiserations. You had to say this to me last night, which just fucking sucks that I've got to say the same to you, brother.
I know, mate. I know it sucks.
I know it sucks. I hate having to ask it, but Crispy, bad luck. I mean that very, very genuinely. We had a good chat today about my thoughts on the match, which I won't divulge here, but what's your thoughts? Bad luck. Do you want to give us your general opinion of the map? Do you want me to tell you where we're sitting at in terms of what we watched, or do you want to just unleash the beast?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd love to know what you boys saw. I mean, I guess I was very kind of tunnel visioned throughout that game, just because I was working so fucking hard on defence, and I barely got a chance to look at where other squads were. So, how did it look from your perspective, boys?
I think I'm going to give you the new nickname of the Marathon Man because I've never seen a squad lead run around so fucking much in my life. But the way that we've got it from a sort of broader perspective, we kind of saw it the midpoint was contested extremely well. You boys took that very early. We thought your garrison setups in terms of, once you capped that were very well constructed. We watched a Panther from the 11th there sit for a while and ended up getting taken out, which we won't go into now. You can watch that back. But then tanks became not really that much big of an issue. We also kind of felt that artillery didn't feature too much, but I did say to them, you said that to me last night, Nardi was fucking huge in our game, so tell us if we missed stuff there. And so what it ultimately boiled down to, Crispy and Hilsey, I know you're listening too, it became a real infantry battle and a battle for sector control, and what Malarkey and Fubar are referring to as these micro battles in terms of controlling different parts of the sector and holding that front door, and what you were doing in working behind trying to keep garrisons up. Ultimately, ROFS were able to sort of sit back, take a breather, to borrow an expression, set themselves up perfectly and take that final point. We also said it went a lot slower than last night, not in terms necessarily of length of the match, but the match felt a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical. Where are you sitting in terms of your perspective as a defensive squad leader, if I'm allowed to call you that?
Yeah, well, hopefully I did an all right job and you didn't see me miss too many shots. But look, firstly, I just want to shout out, obviously, the boys in my squad. They worked fucking so hard, and I was really, really proud of them. you know, Frosty, I think, took out 2 or 3 tanks. Their setup of the AT guns was just phenomenal. They were swapping out of support regularly, just, you know, without even having to ask them. So I think they did a really good job of holding that east side that we were on. And initially, I was sort of focused on trying to hold that front line defense, but quickly realized that they were pouring in from the east side. And yeah, obviously we held that as long as we could. But I think what ROFS do, and we said, you know, if we could deal with the tanks, you know, we'd have a chance with the infantry. But we, you know, credit to ROFS, their infantry gameplay is just phenomenal. So it's always going to be a tough battle when you're trying to beat a team that's probably one of the best I would say, best in the world when it comes to infantry.
Oh, couldn't have said that much better. I will let the boys ask you individual questions in a second, but I'll throw it to Hilsey. Hilsey, I'll ask you one question first, just to put a smile on everyone's faces, because we're all feeling it for poor old Crispy now. Hilsey, what do you think Crispy hates more, Christmas and New Year's, or losing to you today?
I think it's today, mate. Honestly.
Maybe. But on a serious note, Hilsey, you saw my recap there. I won't need to repeat myself. From a ROFS perspective, how are you feeling? How about the match? Any general thoughts before I throw it over to the boys and they can grill you?
I'll try and put a smile on Crispy's face. I did put a screenshot into the mod chat. He was my nemesis for that match. He fucking smoked me a couple of times.
Hey, small battles, micro battles.
That's it. Commiserations, Crispy. It was an amazing battle. Congratulations to your team for how well they were fighting. Would like to thank, obviously, the ROFS crew. I think they did an incredible job. We had our work cut out for us. There was a little bit of PTSD that kicked in the moment we saw that it was Foy after losing to 7th in the Summit Season 2 final last season. So there was a lot of officer chat at the start just saying, hey, it's time to make sure that we redeem ourselves from the last time we featured on this map. And really positive conversations around that, trying to make sure that we weren't in a negative mindset from the start, because that was a pretty tough loss last year. So that was sort of set the tone. Man, it was to see them come out so strong, take the point in the middle, and then for us just to have to grind away. There was some peppering on our defensive point. But I am incredibly proud. You've noted it. The infantry were incredible. I know that you said maybe the Artie didn't feature, but I guess from a recon point of view, we were getting comm chat from our defensive units and some of our offensive units who were trying to push that midpoint to try and claim it back. We needed to take out their Artie, otherwise we weren't getting close through that sort of front door. So there was a point in time where we were able to overcome them for a few minutes. And then that sort of then lined up with the front door push and Airhead and all that sort of jazz just to take that third point. But incredibly proud of the boys, though. They've come back incredibly well for the start of 2024 and absolutely love the game.
Yeah, and it's good to hear. You know, it does all blend together. So we didn't necessarily see the Artie, but it was in play, and you boys did have to take it down to take care of it, which you know, doesn't surprise me with the 11th reputation. All right, boys. Hilsey, Crispy, I hope you're ready. I'm going to throw it over. I can guarantee you Malarkey's got some questions for you, so we might save him until last because he's been on fire tonight. We'll start with Fubar. Is there anything that you wanted to ask either of the boys? It's an open floor. Just direct it to either Hilsey or Crispy.
This is basically for both of them, but it's a hopefully a take on each one's perspective. But after the Midpoint was capped by the 11th, what was the catalyst for the ROFS coming in from the ROFS point of view, and what about the 11th point of view? What did you see where you sort of let that go? If that makes sense.
Crispy, we'll start with you.
Didn't let it go, but
yeah. So so as soon as I looked at the midpoint there, you could see on the eastern side that there was a big open fields, and I knew it'd be important that ROFS were going to try and push down and use the cover on the west side with those trees. So I knew that we'd have to, if we were to cap that point, we were going to have to deal with that pretty quickly. I think we were a little bit slow to realise that. Talking of Artie, actually, ROFS Artie nailed me a couple of times on the point. I tried to get a clutch garrison up. We were a bit slow getting a garrison up on the point. I managed to get a clutch one up just as I got taken out, and then they kind of took that out and were able to pour in exactly where I thought they would. So I think that you know, using the cover of those trees, they were able to sort of sneak back into the point and get some pressure on. I think if we'd got that garrison down a little bit earlier and a little bit further back, we would have stood a bit more of a chance. But yeah, I was really impressed because typically we've been quite slow at the mid set, the mid cap race. But I thought we were pretty on the ball today, and we got there really quick. So I was proud of the boys how they managed to push that.
Nice. What about you, Hilsey?
I think it's one of those things where a lot of things come together all at the same time. And you mentioned that eastern side. We were in control of that eastern side, and maybe just to make a note of that, being in control of the eastern side meant that we were in control of the front door of our defensive point, which then allowed us to have no real sort of sense of dread or pressure breathing down on top of us on the defensive point, which meant we could throw more numbers into the front door of our offensive point. And then obviously, I think we had a couple little sneakies come round over the top and start working the garrison north of the third point. And as I said, our recon units got into position, neutralised their arty, gave the infantry boys some time with some support from some tanks to actually get in and finally get it done to take that point.
Nice, awesome. It's a really good breakdown of the midpoint and how it worked. We've got a guest moment, boys, that's listening in. Old Rummy. Rummy, do you want to participate in this, or are you just be a little
I'm
eavesdrop?
just listening. I'm just listening.
He's been run police.
I'm eavesdropping.
Been run police.
Say, if you stick around, you're more than welcome to participate. But all right, that's good. Lobby's questions done. Sorry, not Lobby. Fubar, Lobby, it's your turn. You got any questions for Crispy and Hilsey?
The only question I've got more directed at Crispy from the 11th side of things. Was there any point when you were, getting squeezed onto Foy itself that you obviously knew that Recon was giving you a pizzle on your arty, you couldn't keep it up and whatnot. Was there any point where you're just thinking, we're running out of options here? We don't have any backup Garys if they do cap this point, because we saw that Healsey did a magnificent job at trying to cap that last point, and I'm assuming it was you that you killed him on your stream going in there. To me, I don't know. We just so focused on that fourth point instead of going, shit, what happens if we lose this? We could get rolled pretty quick. To me, it was just lucky that you've got your fellas back into them capping sectors and you could hold them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you may, if you were listening to me at the time, you may have heard me say that I called it before the start of the match that I know that ROFS can leapfrog teams very, very quickly. So there were discussions there of having a team or a couple of players from a squad roaming around at the back there, just taking care of the recon teams, because I knew that if they got the cap on Foy, that they were going to quickly start capping the last point. So I think with what they did so well and what pulled us away from that was that there was just so much pressure coming from all angles that it actually, recalled those guys away from Foy, and lo and behold, when they capped, they started to get the cap on fifth point. Fortunately, no comms managed to get a bit of a forward placing Gary up, which allowed us to come back in from two sides. I went on the HQ, and then the rest of the attacking boys came off that front facing Gary. And fortunately, we were able to hold out a little bit longer. But it was definitely on my radar that old Hilsey would be sneaking around, waiting to place a well placed Garrison and move in.
No, that's gold. Great answers. All right, the time is actually no. Haxxor, mate, is there anything from the production side of things that you want to ask Crispy or Hilsey?
Oh, it's a question to both, but is there a key moment in the game where you thought, for Hilsey, yep, we've got him, and for Crispy, like, oh no, we're done? Is there like a key moment, or was it just a complete flow of the game?
I'll let you go, Hilsey.
Cool, man. I don't think I was ever going, yeah, cool, we've actually got this until that sort of last Airhead went in to take the last point. I did feel, though, that when we were able to start capping the fifth point immediately after capping the fourth point, we would then buy our defensive teams time to set up, and that was going to be pretty crucial in being able to re-establish our front line and be able to push that fifth point and just put a ton of pressure on. Our recon units, like, we could tell everyone was there. since we started capping, there was nothing behind. We had tons of infantry coming in from the east and the west on the either it was on default garries or those wide flanking garries that you had wide on the final point, and that was like a moment where I went, oh, they're in a bit of trouble here because they're not quite set up. So it still took time, though, and to their credit, man, like they were able to re-establish themselves, and then it took another concerted push from our infantry and squad leaders with the support of Rum with his work there in command to take the victory in the end.
Yeah, just
Actually,
to
you
piggyback
go,
off
Chris.
that, I think there's always an element when you see the message pop up that the enemy started to cap your last HQ, your last point, and defeat is near. So the old bummer was going 10p dinner plate at that point, but I think we managed to get back and hold out for a little bit longer. But it's always for me that was the only point that I was like, okay, this is done now. But yeah, credit to the boys, they were able to get back, reset, and hold out a little bit longer. But full credit to ROFS as well. They managed to push through and put the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
And I won't go in too much because I'll hand it over to Malarkey in a second. But we did talk about that at length, Crispy. We were really impressed, and we talked about that ability to bring the boys back and reset there. And it could have easily gone on another day in a very, very poor direction. But you boys got back in there. We talked about calm heads, and we spoke, quite highly of Pharaoh and his ability to keep a calm head too. So I'll talk to you more about that, off the recording, because I love hearing as much as I can. But Malarkey, I know you might have a few things. You've got Rum here as well. If you want to throw something in, I guess you could. But primarily, Heelsy and Crispy, Malarkey, anything that you want to ask?
Yeah. First of all, congratulations to ROFS and commiserations to the 11th. That was a fantastic game, and I could watch another fucking 6 hours of that today. I do have a question for both you guys, and Rum, I know you're just listening in, but I'd love to hear your POV as well. Was there an area on the map that you thought, if we get control of this area as the ROFS team or as the 11th team, then we'll have a sort of force multiplier for the entire team where we can get intel and we can get sector control, get our tanks comfortable? Or was it sort of just, punch by punch, go roll with the flow and see what happens?
You go, Hilsey, or Rum.
You go, Rum. Let's hear from you, brother.
I'm just lurking.
Nah, you can't lurk. Put on the spot. Let's go.
I shouldn't have done that. Sorry,
I think
Rum.
the area in front of Foy is really key to obviously taking Foy itself. If you get your infantry really grinding in there and your tanks can come up and obviously back it up, West Bend almost becomes null and void in the cap because there's nowhere for you to put anything in front of it. I guess. Oh, trying to think of key spots.
So
Yeah, it would be literally straight in the front.
Yeah.
Yep, on that main road coming straight into point, where all the build up is.
Yeah, which I think we talked about.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
But I think that's then born from the fact as I said earlier, controlling that middle section north of our defensive fourth point, controlling that midsection just meant we had early warnings if we were ever getting people coming in on the flank, and then we were able to apply immediate pressure to Foy from the south because we were already established there. So having a bit of mid control from my perspective, and you delegated that pretty well in officer chat there, Rum. I heard you speaking to certain officers to make sure that they were in that section, not always just sitting defensively or in front.
Yeah, bloody oath.
Got to grind.
Yeah, for me, I felt that I forget what the midpoint was now. It's all a blur to me.
West Bend.
West Bend, that's right. So yeah, I felt like if we managed to get control over that forest area directly north or south of it, depending where you're looking, and we could knock out the advance that ROFS were going to use to get into that point, we would have had a bit more of sector control, and essentially we would have forced them out into those open fields. And I think that our tanks would have been in a good position at that point, particularly with our AT guns as well, and we could have sat back a little bit whilst letting ROFS kind of expose ourselves. and then grind them down before applying some further pressure. But yeah, unfortunately, they did a really good job of pushing there, and we were just a little bit slow to react after that mid cap. Yeah, you know, as I say, they were able to take down our garrison, and unfortunately, and for them, fortunately, cap back West Bend.
Yeah, nice. Look, I think if I you know, put my commander hat on, if you allow me, I think there was a moment in the game where I recognized there was going to be a momentum shift towards ROFS for at least the midpoint and for itself, maybe not the last one, is that garrison that they had on that road leading out of Foy. That garrison was in the red and it was green the entire time, and seeing that showed me that you know, the 11th tanks, you know, they're going to struggle to really support their infy, and if West Bend does get capped, then Foy's going to get under pressure straight away. So props to you, Rum, for calling that out and making sure that your boys are controlling that middle area and those two roads, because I think that was, yeah, like I said, a force multiplier. Like, you can cap West Bend from there, you can cap Foy from there, and you can just keep pushing to the last point.
Absolutely. Artie did an exceptional job pushing you guys out of West Bend too.
Yeah, I felt that 3 times in a row. So yeah, well done, whoever's on your eye.
I've been working on
Yeah, we could tell. All right, I think, Malarkey, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask the boys?
Oh, I could ask 1,000 questions, but I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, boys.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you.
I think
And
the
thank you
only
for
thing
correcting
for
me.
us
Yeah.
was obviously a pass game we had on that map against a team, and it was very glaringly where we were wrong.
Yeah.
I sort of alluded to it at the start of the convo that we took the loss last season at the end of Summit. Is that the one you're referring to, brother?
I am indeed.
Yeah.
I didn't go into too much detail, so you can go into tactical because there might be some context. Okay, but some context maybe for our listeners.
Sorry, Rum, I just have one question, just an extension to what you just said. So if you did learn one thing from that 7th game that you guys lost to on Summit, what was the big takeaway? Just if it was one thing.
The forest in front of West Bend basically controls that whole objective. If you don't have the forest, the point's not yours, even if you've got it capped. You might have the point for 30 minutes, but if they're in the forest 100 meters from your objective, you don't have the point. They have it. They just haven't taken it off you just yet.
In front, did you say, Ron?
Yes, so from coming up the forest, yeah, I don't know what
Boys,
direction.
The only reason why I asked that is that's, you know, that lines up with exactly what we were talking about the map. So it's nice to see that we're all aligning on the same page.
Yeah, it's on the south side there. Just looking at the map now. Yeah, south side of West Bend.
Yeah, and you see it happen all too often on Foy, we should say, boys, Foy. Look, in the interest of time, we should fwark off. But that is round one. Round one concluded. What a fucking fantastic weekend! I was saying to Gilsey earlier today, and I said it in the stream as well, boys. I'm gonna miss this. Like, we've still got 2 weeks to go, but you know, soon enough we'll be all off in our summit or our TPL or both, and you know, we won't get to be doing this every weekend. It's been really fun. So thank you, every single one of you, for taking the time out of your day, whether you played or whether you were here on the stream, putting up with me and Haxxor and Fubar and Malarkey and Lobby. And all of you boys that are listening in as well, we hope we've done you proud. It was an absolutely sensational match. To see Foy get, you know, have tanks pretty much removed from the contest, and to hear some really good analysis here at the end there. I've had a fantastic time. Final words, Lobby?
No, congrats to both sides. Yeah, well done to ROFS, and yeah, well fought for yourself, Crispy, in the 11th, guys. Yeah, you didn't roll over and let them run over you. Yeah, so you put up a hard fought fight for every point for them.
Yeah, nice. Final words, Fubar?
Yeah, GG, guys. Congratulations on the game, ROFS, and commiserations to the 11th. But cracker of a game. Some really good instances there of tactical nous, if you like, on both sides. Fantastic game, guys. Well done.
Final words, Haxxor.
GG boys, unreal game. Yeah.
He's probably wiping all the sweat from his brow right now, the poor bugger. You've done awesome tonight, Haxxor.
We do have one
and
problem.
final words. Oh, yeah?
I didn't hit record.
Don't you dare.
Oh.
Final words, Malarkey.
Jamming spinner.
My heart rate
just
my heart
do it
just
again?
skipped a beat then, yeah.
Do it again.
Replay.
Hey, I will just say, boys, those that are listening, just to
Yeah.
piggyback off what Frank said, what a fucking weekend, eh? Like, the video of the 6 versus TFMC has already had over 1K views in less than 24 hours. So, the boys are absolutely, the community is absolutely loving it. It's been insane, and I can't wait to see what the next couple of weeks brings. So, thanks for everyone that's put the time and effort in. Well done, Hax, for producing, mate. I know it's not easy, but you've done such a amazing job to pick it up in such a short space of time. So, cheers, boys, and thanks for all the lads that commentated tonight as well.
Thanks, mate. Malarkey.
Yeah, look, can we extend the Pavlova Cup? Any chance?
I wish.
I
But
would
you
love
know,
to,
you know
yeah.
what? You know what? Next year, more teams, maybe a bit of WRTB action. We talked about that. So, who knows what's on the horizon, gentlemen? Everyone loves a slice of pavlova, no matter what fucking time of year it is. Good. We're going to wrap it up there. Remember, squad leads from both sides. Tell your boys to not announce any friggin' winners. I haven't checked the chat yet. Hopefully they're not there. And remember also, boys, to nominate your star player. I will announce now that our star players from TFMC versus 6 on the 6th side, it was Lord Lobster. Give him a round of applause, boys.
Crawls together.
And also the star player from TFMC was my new boy, the guy that I shouted out in the friggin' podcast. Hillsy always talks about Mystic Frank. I friggin' called it. Kenny got it, man. I came second, but Kenny Boy came first for TFMC. So that's our 2 stars of the round, and we'll look forward to hearing our 2 stars of the round tomorrow when the video goes live, or tonight, depending on how Haxxor Boy goes. But Hax, 100%, you are the star of the show for doing the production value. Malarkey, thank you for giving up your time for your commentary. Fubar, you're a fucking tank goat. I'm sorry we didn't get more tanks on you, but thank you for coming in. And Lobby, you're just a fucking champion as well. I was going to say something rude there, but you know that I love you deep down. So, Hillsy Crispy, thank you for coming in. Rum, thank you for lurking and then having to participate. That's my fault. Congratulations, ROFS. Commiserations to the 11th, but you put on a good show. I'm going to finish on one final note, and then Hax, you can click end. This is a shout out to the sheep shaggers. You fucking dogs. End.